Your lead story this evening, EFF leader Julius Malema says that media freedom is guaranteed, but only to genuine media. Malema is giving the political report at the party's second National People's Assembly, which is underway at Nasrec in the south of Johannesburg. Well, the party yesterday denied journalists from the Daily Maverick, Scorpio, amaBhungane, Rapport, as well as Caxton accreditation, citing freedom of de-association with regards to who reports on its conferences. Well, in the latest development, news channel eNCA also withdrew from covering the elective conference.
We must further reiterate that we believe in the self-regulation of the media. There must be strengthening of institutions like the Press Ombudsman and the South African Broadcasting Complaint Commission. Inasmuch as media must be independent from the state, business and religious powers, it must, like the rest of us, be held accountable. This is because the media holds social power, the power that can build reputation and destroy them, the power that mask or unmask unjust wars like those in Iraq, Afghanistan or Libya. They have the power to inform or misinform society, at times to the detriment of people's health, livelihoods and safety. The accountability mechanism in this country are terribly weak and enjoy no public confidence. In fact, journalists have to worry about the credibility of their work, particularly in light of press values like fair and balanced coverage. Above all, about sensationalism, the art of blowing things out of proportion simply to sell papers or multiply audience. Sensationalism is now the order of the day, starting storms in a teacup against those the media simply declares as enemies of society. No other political party in post-apartheid South Africa has been declared from editorial pages as an enemy than the EFF. South African journalism has to isolate itself and really enter a great introspection about how they think, feel and report about the EFF. The evidence of their disdain of us is everywhere, and each day it is mounting. We are the first to defend the right of the media to write critically about us, as critically as we challenge the ruling party in parliament. But we only ask that they speak the truth and isolate Stratcom agents amongst them.
Well, giving us more media coverage as the elective conference enters day 2. Our reporter amaBhungane is standing by at Nasrec and he joins us now. A very good evening to you, amaBhungane. Thank you very much for joining us. Essentially, what were the main highlights to that very lengthy 3-hour speech from Commander-in-Chief Julius Malema?
Well, certainly the second day of the elective conference of the EFF, not without drama, Chantel. Of course, some media houses, the eNCA to be in particular, pulling out of this conference, citing issues of media freedom, saying that they've taken a decision to pull out of the conference. But of course, leading to that, we heard the speech by the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, where he really took on the media, accusing some of the media of being captured by intelligence, covert intelligence agencies that were really using media houses to taint the name of the EFF. But more than that, he also spoke about the current president Cyril Ramaphosa of the ANC, saying that if he continues in this trajectory that he's continuing, with accusations, of course, that he is captured by white monopoly capital. They're the ones he's saying that he used the words that, he's a puppet of white monopoly capital. So he says that if he continues in this trajectory, in this trend, he must watch out, because he says he's not going to finish his term like the previous former President Jacob Zuma. So there was a stern warning to President Ramaphosa. But of course, there were many issues that he touched on. He also spoke about the issue of leadership within the EFF, saying that some of the leaders inside the party were power hungry. He said that some of them were not loyal to the party, but loyal to their positions. And he says those are the leaders within the Central Command team that will ultimately be out of the team or of the structure of leadership in this conference. So referring to some of those in the top 6 that he says will be ousted. There are indications, of course, that Malema himself is going to retain the position as Commander-in-Chief, as that Floyd Shivambu will retain his position as Deputy President of the party. But we do know that some of these positions are up for grabs and that they will be contested, and that there is a slate that is purported to be mooted by those who are close to the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, with regards to that.
But just touching on the drama regarding some of the media houses, of course, eNCA joining the fray of amaBhungane, as well as the Daily Maverick and the Scorpio, as well as Caxton and the likes. As a journalist on the ground, what sort of atmosphere has that created in covering this elective conference?
Well, Chantel, I can say that, we as the SABC have not faced any hardships. In fact, we have been welcomed by the EFF. There's been no sort of resentment or no comments to the effect that, they're not, welcoming the SABC. We have been given a warm welcome, and so has other journalists. Sitting last night in the media room where they had their press briefing last night, we chuckled with the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, and he was quite warm to us as the media. There was no indication of all that, they had a problem with other media houses participating in this conference. But of course, he did raise the issue of Daily Maverick, saying that Daily Maverick was, a propaganda tool, and that, it's nothing new to them. This has been known. This is a position that has been known before, months before, that, Daily Maverick will not cover the events. He says that they have even not come to some of their press conferences. So he says that relationship has been fractured from a long time, and it's no surprise that, they didn't give them the accreditation that they did. But I think, what caught us all by surprise was the pulling out of eNCA today from the coverage, which cited, of course, saying that it had taken a principled decision in support of media freedom. And of course, that was unexpected. The EFF also responding to that, saying that they were taken by surprise by this development, but going as further as saying that, they'd indicated earlier on as well that, they did not quite have a good relationship with eNCA. And that, so, that was a surprising factor of it, but of course other media houses choosing to stay, choosing to report on the issue, and of course we have been, quite open to attending the sessions. I just attended one of the sessions now, which was the credentials report that was adopted a short while ago, and of course right now the organizational report taking place, and of course the sense that we're getting, even speaking to Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, who is, the communications manager of EFF, telling us that, of course, that we are welcome to attend the sessions and to listen in.
Let's wrap it up there, Mangoba, and for SABC News, just taking us through day 2 of the EFF's elective conference from Nasrec, just taking us through what we can expect, some highlights from Commander-in-Chief Julius Malema's speech yesterday, or address rather, as well as, of course, the drama that we saw unfold today with one of the top media houses in South Africa withdrawing from covering that conference. Let's have a look now at how South Africa compares to the rest of the world in terms of press freedom. Well, the 2019 World Press Freedom Index is compiled by Reporters Without Borders and shows how hatred of journalists has degenerated into violence, which has also contributed to an increase in fear. Well, South Africa ranks 31st out of the 180 countries. The country's ranking dropped 3 positions since last year, when it was ranked at number 28. On the African continent, Namibia and Ghana fared better at number 23 and 27. It is also worth noting that France and the United Kingdom rank just behind South Africa at 32 and 33 respectively. The United States of America ranks far below South Africa for press freedom at number 48, and 2 major African states, Kenya and Nigeria, rank 100 and 120 out of 180 respectively.